If you're here, then you're ready to explore the forest. Here's how to play Hideouts, Legends of the Forest, the Creature's Guide. Inside the box, you will find item cards, tiles, and player pieces. Let's get it set up. To start, all players must choose their pack leader. I'm going to start by playing with Ragnar. Once you've chosen your pack leader, all players then need to choose their corresponding game pieces. Each player then chooses a side quest at random. Keep this a secret from your opponents. Next, each player has a very handy player card. This helps tell you the actions that you can take in your turn, as well as the ongoing events that you may find on one of your hideouts. Each player then takes one item card from the item deck at random and places it in front of them as well. To set up your board, you are going to be making a 4x4 grid with the tiles. The amount of tiles you need depends completely on the amount of players you have, so please refer to the grid in the rulebook or on screen now to know how many you need of each tile. Because it's the most complicated, I'm going to set up for a 2-player game, so everything that I'm explaining now is for a 2-player game. Your players' habitat tiles form the corners of a board, so for a 2-player game it makes these corners, and if I had a 4-player game, all 4 corners would be filled with a habitat tile. You then need to place your pack leader's meeple on your habitat tile, as well as 3 packmate counters for a 2-player game and 4 for a 3 or 4-player game. A remaining packmate counter goes in your resource pile as well as one of the dice. You might just need those later. Any spare packmate counters can be put back in the box. Now we need to set up our 4x4 grid. We do this by using 1 red burrow tile, 1 hideout depending on the amount of players that are playing. So there's a 2-player game, I'm adding 2 hideouts into my starting deck. You then need to grab your land tiles. These could look like this, or they may have the item icon on them. For a 2-player game, you need 11 of these, and then you need to shuffle all of those together, turn them upside down so you don't know where they're going to be, and then lay out your 4x4 grid. One of the exciting things about hideouts is the ever-expanding board. To do this, we need to set up our tile deck. Now, once again, these numbers are based depending on the amount of players that you have playing. I'm setting up for a 2-player game. Please check the guide on the screen now and in the rulebook to know exactly how many you need for a 3 or 4-player game. For a 2-player game, I need 6 hideouts, 1 item shop, and 5 land tiles. Again, land tiles could have the item symbol on them, or they may not. These then get shuffled together to form your tile stack. This gets placed over in your resource area. You also need 2 burrow tiles for a 2-player game, and these go next to your tile stack. And now you're ready to play. The player most likely to win a fight goes first. Play then continues in a clockwise direction. The purpose of the game is to move around the board, placing tiles to expand the forest. As you move around the board, you may find these hideouts. These are what get you points at the end of the game. In the bottom right hand corner is how much you need to roll to successfully claim the hideout, and in the top left hand corner is the point value of the hideout at the end of the game. The more points, the more likely you are to win. As you're exploring, you may even find hideouts that look like this. These have ongoing events in the bottom left hand corner. To find out what they mean, refer to your player card. This one, for example, adds 1 to every single roll that you take in your turn. Just because you own a hideout doesn't mean you're going to have that hideout by the end of the game. Your opponents can jump on that hideout and steal it from you with some dice battling. As you're expanding the forest, you are placing tiles. When the tile stack runs out, the game is over, and the creature with the most points wins. You have 3 action points or AP to use in your turn. You don't have to use them all if you don't want to. There are 7 actions that you can spend your points on. These are move and explore, place a tile, claim a hideout, burrowing, you can block or unblock your opponent's tile, move diagonally, or you can go shopping. I'm going to do an example turn using Ragnar. He spends his first action point by moving and exploring. To move and explore, you move your packmate leader onto a tile, flip it over to reveal it, and then he stands back on there. This shows an item icon, which means I can pick up an item card and add it to my hand. Next, Ragnar's going to have a go at placing a tile. This costs 2 action points. To place a tile, you have to successfully roll 6 or more, and I got 7. I can then take a tile from the deck and add it to the board. I cannot place it adjacent to my pack leader pawn, but I can place it anywhere else on the board. So I'm going to choose to place it here. And a bit harsh, but if you don't successfully roll, you've still spent those action points and you don't get to place a land tile. That is the end of my turn because I've spent my 3 action points. So we're currently midway through a game. Wolfheart has got 3 action points to spend. He uses 1 to move and explore. And it's a hideout. He's going to try and claim the hideout. Using another action point, he has to roll 8 or more to successfully claim it. And he's got 10, which means he can put one of his packmate counters onto the hideout. And it's worth 5 points. He's then going to spend his last action point, move and explore over here. And that's an item card that he can add to his hand. And that's the end of his go. Which means it's Ragnar's turn. Now Ragnar is going to fight back. Ragnar chooses to spend 1 action point, moving and exploring. And it's an item card. Oh, it's cunning. He's going to use that item card, so it goes in the discard pile, and that is a 1 free diagonal move, so he can do this with a cost of no action points. What this means now is he is on an opponent's hideout. They get to battle it out to see who is going to win it. A battle is free. It does not cost any action points. When you have a battle, your opponent has their 2 dice, you have your 2 dice, and you roll them to see who gets the highest. There are some sneaky little item cards in there like Modify that can change your roll or your opponent's roll, as well as Trio's Fury, where one of you might be able to steal a dice from your resource pile and roll with 3 instead of 2. For this round, we're just going to roll 2 versus 2. And Ragnar wins because Ragnar has got 9 and Wolfheart has got 4. Because Wolfheart has lost, his packmate counter goes back to his habitat tile and Ragnar can successfully put his on the tile. Ragnar has 2 AP left and he's going to use this to place a burrow. A burrow costs 2 action points and it can be placed on any land tile, that includes those with the item icon on, that the pack leader is on or adjacent to. So Ragnar is choosing to place it there. What the burrow allows you to do is freely move from one burrow to another. So next turn, anyone that is on that burrow is able to go on it and move freely to the other burrow entrance. If you have more than 2 burrows, for example, if we had another one here, you'd be able to move between any of the burrows that you wanted to. We're now towards the end of the game and you might have noticed that we are quite low on our item cards. This is because once you have explored an item tile, you claim the item card once and the item is then gone. I'm a little bit short on item cards and I'm not a very good loser, so I want to get as many item cards as I can to make sure I've got some last minute tricks up my sleeve to make sure that I am the legend of the forest. To do that, I'm going to take a shopping trip. I land on the golden rucksack tile and I can spend 1 action point to get 1 item card. You can do this for all 3 action points if you want to, and I am definitely going to do that. 1 action point, 2 action point, 3 action point. Okay, so Wolfheart is winning. Because he's winning and there's only 1 tile left in the stack, he's going to spend 2 action points to hopefully roll a 6 and place the final tile. He successfully rolled more than 6, which means he can place that land tile. Remember, this is the last tile in the deck. The game ends once that tile has been explored. Ragnar's feeling quite confident because Wolfheart's only got 1 action point left and he can't make it to that tile. However, he's sneaky and he's used his extra action point, which means he now has 2 actions to move and explore that final tile. It doesn't matter what that tile is, as soon as it has been explored, it is game over. Now we need to add up the points. We're going to start with Wolfheart. He has 6, add 5, which is 11, add 4, which is 15. So Wolfheart has 15 points. Ragnar has 3, add 5, which is 8, add 4, which is 12. So right now, Wolfheart is winning. Ragnar's feeling pretty smug though, because he has completed his side quest, which is all of the burrows being placed. 1, 2, 3, burrow stack is empty, so Ragnar brings it to a draw at 15 all. However, Wolfheart slams down his completed side quest, which is owning the highest value hideout on the board, which he does with this 6-point hideout, plussing 2 points to his 15. Wolfheart wins with 17 points. And that's your quick start guide to playing Hideouts Legends of the Forest. Other scenarios might come up and they are all covered in the rulebook. I hope you enjoy the game and become the ultimate Legend of the Forest.